Hi there, welcome back to Piet and Grada at the Purple House. Have you noticed recently or in the last few years that people seem to be cracking up younger than ever before? So we're not talking about 90-year-olds, 80-year-olds, 70-year-olds. We're talking about teenagers, people in the 20s, 30s and 40s. So recently, I'll use this story to illustrate what it looks like. One of our clients, I'll call her Julia, came into our clinic and she'd been to lots of different places, many health practitioners and the doctor. Her tests all came back normal, but she was putting on weight, her joints were aching, she wasn't sleeping well, she was like a zombie after 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and many other issues in the tissues, and yet nobody had given her help in a way that transformed her life. And so Piet, he will continue in a minute, but Piet, what do you have to say? I just want to get to the end. So it did have a happy end. So like she did receive help from Peter and Caleb, and her health turned around and she's looking bright and happy now. So everything turned around and she was shown a way out of the maze of confusion. So before Piet steps in, I just want to say that the world is even more confusing than ever before. Many people go to the doctor, to the GP, and you only get 15 minutes there, which is, by the way, not the GP's fault at all. We're supportive of the medical system. It's just that it's a system that the doctor is trapped in and the patient is trapped in. And over the years, we've had many clients who've been referred to the Purple House by GPs, chiropractors, and psychologists as well, who were stuck with their clients. So before people go off the deep end, they often come to the Purple House, just so you know what we deal with. And we have been open now since the year 99, so nearly, well, it's a good 27 years. So we've seen we've got a lot of experience with what goes on. So Piet, do you want to just talk about how you look at people, especially like what we were going to...
Well, if you take your car, something happens to your car, you don't just have a look on the outside of the car and say what's going on.
Especially if you're a mechanic.
You have to lift the bonnet and have a look at the engine, what's happening. And so...
Especially if you're a mechanic.
Yeah, especially if you're a mechanic, you, by right, should look at the engine, look at do a diagnostic session. That's why we call our session a diagnostic session, because it looks at numbers of where people are in or out of balance. So what we do... Often people come to us at the end of the road, some of them. I had a guy just recently, not Julia, but another guy who had been put on things to stop his hydrochloric acid production 10 years ago, and he was still on them. He'd suffered a bit of indigestion, which is actually due to lack of hydrochloric acid, not too much, but he wouldn't have been digesting his food at all to get the nutrients out of them for 10 years. And he wondered why his body was starting to crack up. And a script is just written and handed over, but we have to take our health into our own hands and ask questions, do a bit of exploring, but we will help you look under the bonnet and run the diagnostic tests and see where things are in or out of balance. That's the diagnostic session, the full health audit. Both Caleb and I do that, and yeah, it is very specific to the person who we're
that's right,
who's having the session. So
because you're unique, aren't you? Like you're different to your husband or your neighbour.
Grada and I, we ate the same diet.
A healthy diet.
Had the same food for years. When we went to learn about the testing we do, Grada had an imbalance one way, I had an imbalance the other way. We were totally different. Same diet, same, but two different people. And we needed different nutrients to get us back into balance.
To get the four wheels back on the road.
So
So
Julia, after it was 3 or 4 weeks, she came back in with she looked a different person.
Yeah.
She said, I feel like myself again. And that's the amazing thing, is people have changes very quickly. Within 3 or 4 weeks, they're experiencing a lot more energy.
Yeah.
They're back on track again. And,
even if you've been like not feeling well for like a decade, or can sometimes be 2 decades, it makes no difference, because your body still has the blueprint for perfect health, and it just needs to be given the right direction, open the pathway, look at what suits your body, what doesn't. And by the way, it's not very intrusive either. So Peter or Caleb, we call that a full health audit, like how you audit your business or you audit the car. That happens with you in the room, and usually all the findings are explained to you right there and then. Plus you get a report, plus you get recommendations that are very easy to follow, because we don't believe in overwhelming people even more than, or stressing people out. So we've had people who literally spent over $100,000 on their health, and they were still as sick as before. Because lots of practitioners, they are basically also following a system that they learned, but it's not specific to you as the individual. And it's like throwing spaghetti on the wall, hoping that it sticks, right? So we don't like that sort of approach at all. Pete and I have had to come back literally from ground zero ourselves. Like Pete was born with extreme food allergies, which was unheard of back in the days. And I had to recover from a truck accident that left me with severe injuries. So we know what it feels like to live in a body that's broken. But at the same time, the body still always has the blueprint, or the picture of what good health looks like. Your body is the most highly intelligent creation.
Yep. Give it the things it needs, and it'll do the work to create health, because we're aimed at health. Grant said we've got the blueprint, and we know what that is, and we're aimed at that.
We're aimed at great health, to be honest. We really aim to prosper, not to just linger for like a few decades and lose all the joy in your life.
But our food industry and health industry has got a lot to answer for.
That's right.
And over the time, our food isn't food anymore.
No, that's right. It's just filler that fills your body.
It's not nutrition that our body needs. Give our body the things it needs, and it will do the work that gets us back to good health.
And it happens easily, because it's very natural for your body to do that. So please go ahead, check out our website. It's called The Purple House. I'll put a link in below. And in here we have lots of free ebooks, more than one I've got in my hands. They're actually packed with information.
Plus, if you subscribe to the email list, you'll get the emails
like this, like 3 times a week. Also, that can really save your life. So Julia had really, really good results, and that's what we want for everything. I just want to finish with a story that was like super frustrating for Pete and me, and this is literally about a car. So one of our daughters, who's a single mom, her car broke down. Suddenly it lost power, which is very symbolic, isn't it? She was driving along the road with her 3 kids during the summer holidays, and the car suddenly lost power, so she had to pull over, and then it started up again, then it lost power again. So it was taken to a garage, and then the people in the garage, they ordered a part for it and said, I think it was the fuel pump, wasn't it, Pete? Well, they said now it'll work. So that, by the way, took about 4 weeks. And they installed the fuel pump, so she was all happy, took off again. The car did exactly the same thing, and it was very dangerous. So it would be driving along, then it would lose power. And so then we took her to the specialist, the car specialist. I won't mention the name, but we had a terrible experience there. So the specialist was expensive, and here it's a single mom. And they said they diagnosed the car, so that's what we're talking about. They probably didn't even look under the bonnet. ordered a pad. They had to order a pad which cost my daughter $5,000. It took like 6 weeks for the pad to arrive. Then it took more time to install. And then the car was undrivable.
They couldn't even start it.
It was undrivable.
After they did the repairs.
And then, so we didn't know what to do. They didn't know, well, they didn't even say we don't know what to do. They just didn't do anything. The car was left in the yard. And so Pete and I were lucky on the grapevine. We heard about this private person who works on this specific car type, so he specializes in his car in his backyard, and he's done it all his life. So Peter went to Launceston, and while he had driven the car into the car yard, this is how terrible it is, he actually had to winch the car back on the trailer, and he had to pay $5,000 for the repairs that they'd done for a part that wasn't broken in the first place, that they'd installed. So Pete had to put the car on the trailer and then winch it off again. It was completely undrivable after spending $5,000 plus a fuel pump that it didn't need. So this guy looked at it for a couple of weeks. He pretty much replaced everything, and then in the end, he told us what the original problem was. What was it again, Pete? Just
fuel injectors.
Oh yeah, so it needed new fuel injectors, which were fixed. He fixed the brakes. He did lots of extra things that we hadn't asked for. Didn't charge anything extra. He just had common sense, and he looked at eyes that knew what he was looking for. And so this is the experience that lots of people have with their bodies. They know they're losing power somewhere and it's unsafe, it's getting more and more, and then the car becomes undrivable. You spend money, now it's completely wrecked. This is what happens to many people who arrive at the Purple House. So I just want you to know, we will never do that to our clients. We let you know if we can work with you or not, if we can help you or not. In most cases, we can help you, because we've been looking at under the bonnet for 30 years now, nearly. Also, I mean, we also do energy medicine that's really powerful, that helps your body to click into gear pretty well. Straight away, you get your power back before you leave the room. So that's something else that we all practice here. Just so you know that when you come to us, we do look under the bonnet. We are detectives. We look with eyes that know, expert eyes.
Well, we do tests to determine.
And we won't
where you're out of balance.
Charge you $5,000 for nothing, just to be sure that you get that point. So check out what we do. Check out our website. Also, the client testimonials that are there and the ebooks are really important. Share them with other people.
And if you can't get to us, quite often the things start to go wrong in our digestion first, because that's where we get the nutrients. We can eat the best food around. If we're not digesting it properly, then we're not getting the nutrients for our body. So if you can't come and see us, get your digestion cranked up with beet flow to get the bile flow going, an enzyme to digest food in the stomach properly, and a probiotic. They are the things that will get the digestion working well, and you may start to get nutrients for your body for the first time in your life.
Maybe cleans out your fuel injectors, right? It probably will. And it's really only the cost of a cup of coffee a day, which it's negligible. So this is just what I wanted you to share. I know that it's incredibly frustrating for people to get the right help. Pete and I are in your court. Do come and help us. We do come and ring us so we can give you the support and the clarity that you've been craving all along. Thanks for being in our community, and we really appreciate your support. Stay healthy and warm, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now. Bye.